Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm reviewing another pen from Pilot. I've looked at a lot of Pilot pens over the years. They are probably one of my top, well they definitely are, one of my top pen brands. And today we are looking at this. This is the E95s from Pilot. Pilot Japan there, as it says on the pen. The E95s, I have shown my Pilot Elite, which is a vintage Pilot Elite on this channel before. That has an 18 karat gold nib and it's slightly slimmer than the E95s. I'm not going to show them in comparison today. That is a video I am going to make later on. But we want to talk about this pen today, the Pilot Elite. Pilot is a wonderful Japanese pen brand, make amazing pens, and this is absolutely no exception. As you can see, this is a smaller pen. It is a pocket pen, but when it is opened up full, it makes a really nice size in the hand. So let's talk about parts and features, do a writing sample, and then pros and cons. Top of the pen, simple flat top in this sort of like brushed, sort of almost champagne-y chrome sort of color with a gold trim. Lovely clip there that says Pilot on it. The cap swells out and then we get this like printed gold cap band with it. There's a letter E there for E95 or Elite. And then this sort of gold pattern, as I said, Pilot Japan on the back of it there. Little step down on the barrel, and then the barrel tapers down to a flat end. It's a very short barrel. Once again, it is a pocket pen. Now, this is a sticker. I've only kept this on because this is how it comes. I will be removing this after the review. It just indicates the nib size. I only have one E95s. I keep if I have more than one of a pen model, like the Custom 74, for instance, I keep the sticker on just so I know which nib it is at sight. Anyway, it is a snap cap and it comes off very nicely. It's a beautiful capping system mechanism. It's so smooth. And as you can see, long section there, and then a lovely gold inlaid nib, and that's a 14 karat gold nib. And as I said, I have this in a fine, and it says 14K585 Pilot. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking that up. For fine, and then Japan there. So it is a smaller pen. That is, the way that is. Then you cap it or you post it and it posts very, very securely and it becomes a very nice size in the hand. This is the size the pen is designed to be written in, and it's incredibly comfortable. It's very light. You almost lose the pen in your hand. It is that light. But it's a lovely, lovely pen to write with and a great pen, great pen for long writing sessions. Now, it is Pilot, so it is proprietary cartridge and converter. And it comes with a converter and it comes with a cartridge. These Pilot converters aren't great. Generally speaking, with a lot of my Pilot pens, I try and avoid this one won't take that Con 70 converter. That has the best capacity, but it's a pain to clean. If I'm using converters, this is the sort of converter I will use. But generally what I will do is refill Pilot cartridges. The Pilot cartridges are great and they come in standard-y kind of colors as well as a few fun ones, and then a number of the Iroshizuku inks come in cartridge form as well, and they'll all fit in this pen model. But it does, as I said, come with a converter so you can use any ink you want. Nice threads, simple capping. As I should say, this is sort of that deep red or burgundy color one. The camera doesn't necessarily pick up this color particularly well. But yes, lovely pen, great in the hand. Let's do a size comparison. For the size comparison today, I've put it alongside what is probably the most popular pocket fountain pen on the market, and that is the Kaweco Sport. Obviously, much different price points, simple steel nib versus a gold nib, all that kind of stuff, German-made, Japanese-made, and then a traditional Lamy Safari. You can see it's longer than the Sport, but definitely shorter than a Lamy Safari. Obviously, neither of the pocket pens are designed to be written with unposted. Yes, you can probably tick something off a to-do list or something, but that is not the intention of how it's written with, so it is definitely shorter than the Lamy Safari. And then we get the posted lengths. Now, it's shorter here than Safari, longer than the Sport, but I'm just going to unpost the Safari here so you see. When it is posted, it's longer than the uncapped or the unposted Lamy Safari. So it's a very good size in the hand and it is quite light. So what are the specific dimensions of the Pilot E95s? Well, it's 120 millimeters when it is capped. It's 106 when it's uncapped. So as I said, for jotting something down quickly, like a phone number or ticking something off a to-do list, absolutely fine. But its posted length is 148 millimeters, which makes it an exceptionally good size in the hand. And because there's no defined grip section, firstly, you never feel that those threads, it's long enough. You can hold it down further or up further, and you get a different sort of width, of course, but it's never sort of going to feel too short in the hand. The section around the middle here was around 10 millimeters, and then around the cap is about 13. So it's not a super thick pen, but it's big enough to feel comfortable. The pen weighs a total of 15.5 grams, so super, super lightweight. 10.5 of that is in the body and 5 is in the cap. So when you post it, it becomes exceptionally well balanced. It's lightweight, it's nicely balanced into the fingers. Okay, let's do a writing sample now on the very last page here of my Clairefontaine notepad. I've got another Clairefontaine notebook ready to go for my next reviews, and I'm not shooting these in order, so this one will probably come out of sequence a little bit. But yes, let's do this writing sample. So we have the Pilot E95s. This has a 14 carat fine nib, and it does come in a range of nib sizes, particularly fine and medium. The ink in this today is Pilot Iroshizuku. I'm not sure what's happening with my handwriting today. Pecky. Beautiful blue ink. Lovely, lovely, lovely in this pen. This is kind of like the lightest you could probably get away with for sort of professional use, but it's got a lot of personality, and that's why I like it in this pen. Let's do a writing sample. There is a hint of feedback. It's that Japanese style of feedback, which I personally quite enjoy, but it is definitely a super, super smooth writer. And as we saw earlier, like, it's not super wet, but it's definitely laying down a nice amount of ink. Reverse writing is a little bit scratchy, but, you know, kind of doable. Flex, you can actually squeeze a small amount of line variation out of this without applying a whole lot of pressure. It is not a flex nib, it is not a soft nib, but because it is gold and the way it's made, you can get just a tiny little bit of line variation out if you wanted. Now, fast writing. No issues whatsoever. I've never had a hard starter skip or ink starvation or anything from this pen. Now, there are literally dozens or more reviews of this pen floating around, particularly here on places like YouTube. They will all say the same thing. Some people will say it's too small. Some people will not enjoy the size of it or the form or whatever, but the general consensus is that this pen writes flawlessly. Whether it's everyone's particular flavor, no one can deny that this is a very, very fine writing instrument. So what does the Pilot E95s cost? Well, Pilot is one of those brands that if you can get it from Japan, you are going to pay a heck of a lot less. The import into Australia and into the US and places like that is astronomical. So find the best price you can get from a retailer or seller that you are comfortable buying from. In the US, from a major retailer online, this pen costs $144, which I think is a really reasonable price point for a gold nib from a brand like Pilot that has, good, sort of customer service and warranties and all those kinds of things. So I think it's a really lovely price point. In Australia, there's a bit of a variance. Some retailers sell it for around the 215, some up to 295 Australian dollars. Now, where that variance comes from, I have a few theories that I won't go into here, but suffice to say, buy from a retailer that has, all those safeguards in place. You should never have a problem with the Pilot pen, but you want to know that if you did, that you're not going to be sort of left stranded, if you will. So at $295 at that highest price point, gold nib, big tick. Form and function, good, big tick. Writing experience, great. Pilot, awesome. So that's the kind of price you would expect for a pen like this in Australia. Okay, pros and cons. So as I said, for some people this pen will be too small. They won't like the form and function. That's going to be totally personal to them. The biggest con with this pen, and it's not this pen specifically, it is Pilot and it is the converters. This will not hold that Con 70. The Con 70 is a decent converter, just hard to clean, but good capacity, all that kind of stuff. The Con 40 and those kinds of ones are just rubbish. The incapacity on these is useless. Like, I had to do a sneaky fill of this, you know, like get the ink down. But it was just wanting to fill this top half. And so I had to like manually get the ink down into this bottom half and then sort of fill into there again, just to get a decent ink capacity. They're really hopeless. And that rattle of those ball bearings is just such a pain. Anyway, that's just me. As I said, I prefer to fill cartridges with this pen. For me, that is the preferred filling option. I will use a cartridge. I bought Pilot cartridges. I think they're fabulous. Use the ink that's in them and then reuse them, you know, 3, 4, 5 times until they start to just sort of feel a little bit loose. And then obviously you need to dispose of them, and please dispose of them, you know, responsibly. Okay, but lots of big pros with this pen. Firstly, the form. Small pen, very convenient. Posts to a really good size pen. So that form, function, design in your hand, the ergonomics of it are all absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. I also love the aesthetic. I love this style of inlaid nib. I like the burgundy deep red. I like this sort of brushed chromey, sort of champagne-y sort of chrome color with the accent with the gold. Normally I don't like gold accent, but I think with this color scheme, it is absolutely spot on. It's a beautiful looking pen and it writes flawlessly, which is the biggest pro of this pen. The biggest pro is that nib. 14 karat gold nib, writes flawlessly, smooth, nice little gentle hint of feedback, generous line. For a fine, it's a Japanese fine, so it is on the fine side, but beautiful writer, absolutely glorious. As I said, long writing sessions are great with this pen. Short writing sessions are super easy. The snap cap makes it super convenient. It's just a really, really wonderful pen. So thank you for watching this review of the Pilot E95s fountain pen. I hope you found it interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button, all of that kind of stuff. All of that helps the algorithm and helps put my videos higher up in the searches and all that kind of stuff, which helps me grow my channel and helps me, you know, provide more reviews for you. So thank you for your support with that. If you'd like to support the channel in another way, by providing an item for review or, you know, sponsoring it in some way, I would really love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.